class. I hope that everybody is having a great day. So here's what we're going to be doing today, you guys. We are going to be working on our government lesson. Okay, so we are in chapter 11.2. So 11.2 is on page 415. It looks like everybody has their books out. Great job. Great job, you guys. You guys are at the right place. We're going to quickly kind of just review something. So when we look at this chapter, you guys, I see cabinet departments and agencies. And so the question is, what are the structure and functions of the executive branch? So the executive branch, do you guys remember what the executive branch is?
Yeah.
We have some clues. Okay, what is the executive branch? Okay. Okay, executive branch.
To execute like laws and policies.
Okay, laws and policies. Okay.
Negotiates with other countries.
Okay, negotiates with other countries, laws and vetoes, appoints judges, proposes policies. They are elected by the Electoral College. Okay, good job. Vice President, co-elected with President, and the executive departments and others. So they have the cabinet. So today we're going to be learning about some of the different types of cabinets that exist in the United States. Okay, so I'm going to pass these out to you guys. Okay, make sure you guys have a pencil. If somebody needs one, just let me know. Okay, the first part we just talked about, so you guys can fill that in the first section. What do you know about the executive branch? Okay, and we do have some things on the wall, or you guys can write down what you guys remember from earlier this year when we did learn about the executive branch. Okay. We have a couple of friends back here who are not on our camera, so I will make sure that they are able to participate also. Okay, so we're going to fill in this top part. And then also I'm going to be passing out a small piece of paper that's going to kind of go over what we're going to be doing throughout this lesson and how you are going to earn full credit today by participating, okay? There you go. Okay, so the top section is, what do you know about the executive branch? So you can write down a couple words or a sentence. You guys choose. But let's see what you guys know. Okay, my friend, let's make sure. Right here, you write down, what do you know about the executive branch? We've got some clues in yellow on the wall over here. We've got some visuals. You can use some of those. Okay, the next little area we have on here before we really get started and start diving into what our lesson's going to be is department. So when you think about what a department is, okay, a department, what kind of comes to your mind? Like at school, there's different departments. So there's a history department, there's an English department, there's a foreign language department. What does department mean to you?
Like organization or like a branch.
Okay.
That's extended throughout the
Okay.
community.
So it's how they kind of organize the groups, yes, so that's great. Okay. So you can put, if you want, you can put department. It is an organization. That is great for department. Okay, and an agency. What is an agency? An agency. Is it a group that helps maybe support?
I don't know. Federal law
Okay.
enforcement.
For agency, we're going to put something about, how about supports. Now, in our last lesson that we did talk about responsibility when we were talking about, electing a president.
Responsibility is easy.
So responsibility, what's responsibility?
Well, say if you say that you're the teacher, right?
Yes.
You're responsible for teaching us.
Yes.
What does that mean to you?
So, responsibility.
Okay, I kind of went off. I'm not sure how to put this.
Your role, I just say it's a role.
Okay, that's great. So it's a role that somebody has.
Over something.
Thank you. Oh my
Okay.
God.
Mhm. And then impact. What does the word impact mean to you? Effect.
Yeah.
So impact is what effect does it have? Okay, great job. So there are different types of cabinet departments.
I missed the department. That's what it is.
It's like different types of groups. It's organized.
Okay.
Like when you go into a department store, okay, but also like a department at school, like what department is it? Is it English, history, and so, okay. One thing that I like is when I first look in the textbook and I go to page 414, you guys, there's a guiding question right here and it says, what are the functions of the 15 cabinet departments in the executive branch? So right here, right away, what does this tell me? How many cabinet departments are there? What number is this? I heard it over here.
15.
There's 15. Okay. The president's cabinet includes heads of the 15 executive branch departments in addition to advising the president in matters related to their specific department. These individuals run their departments, they oversee programs, services, and people that carry out the mission. So these are specific departments with specific purposes that are services, programs, and there are missions and reasons why these are carried out. Nearly 2.8 million civilians work for the federal government, and there are, it talks about property, there are 900,000 buildings scattered across the nation and across the world. Okay, so it talks about all these different things. It talks about, and it talks about the Department of the State, the Treasury, the Interior. Now on page 416, it talks about some of these different groups. Now I want to real quickly shift over to a video that I found on YouTube that has some really useful information about some of these departments that's really going to help support us in understanding better what these do. Today. Okay, I want you guys to look right here in your packet. Okay, and so right here, you guys, I have like an area where you can write down the cabinet department. And then you can write down like what they do and things like that for citizens. So right here you can make some lines, but you're going to be taking your notes here from this little YouTube video. This YouTube video is pretty straightforward with what these groups are doing, which is great. But it's not projecting here yet. Okay, here we go. Okay, Department of State is the oldest. So down there in the notes, you can put Department of State is the oldest in charge of foreign policy.
Secretary of State. This department is the President's principal foreign advisor. It manages the U.S. diplomatic
It's the
presence around
oldest
the
what?
world through its network of embassies and consulates.
It's for the
It's the oldest department, and they manage the embassies and consulates. So there's embassies in different countries.
Negotiates treaties and international agreements, and issues passports to Americans.
Okay, issues passports. Okay, this is probably if you guys like the international treaties, those are super important. But a lot of us have passports. We like to travel, and so when you think about like, how does this agency affect us? How does it affect me? Well, I have a passport and I like to travel. So the
What's a
department,
passport?
a passport.
Oh, got that.
A passport. So Department of State, what do? They issue passports so that people can travel. Okay.
Citizens. When you hear about U.S. diplomacy, you are hearing about the work of the Department of State. Department of the Treasury. This department is responsible for the economic and financial systems of the United States.
Okay, Department of Treasury, they're responsible for financial things for the United States. What do you think that one of their roles is?
The budget,
The budget?
He's responsible for
What else do you think they do?
printing out money.
Printing out money? Okay, let's see. I think that's a great comment.
Led by the Secretary of the Treasury, its mission is to maintain a strong economy and create economic opportunity. It manages the nation's finances by collecting taxes through the IRS, printing money and minting coins,
Okay, so they collect taxes and they also mint money. Exactly what you just said over here. Okay, do you think this is important, you guys?
Mm-hmm.
It's very important.
managing the federal debt, and enforcing finance and tax laws. It plays a critical role in everything from your paycheck to the stability of the global economy. Department of Defense. Headquartered in the Pentagon, the DoD is responsible for providing the military forces needed to deter war and ensure the nation's security. It is the largest department in the government, led by
Okay, Department of Defense. Okay, they're the largest department in the government. And what do? They oversee the military? Okay.
Overseeing military operations.
Yes. And they are the largest department, led by the Secretary. Yeah. Of Defense. So write this one down in your notes.
the Secretary of Defense. It provides civilian oversight for all branches of the U.S. Armed Forces, the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, and Space Force. Its mission is to project American military power and protect the security of the United States and its interests around the globe. As of today, its official name remains the Department of Defense. Any permanent change to Department of War would require congressional approval and has not been enacted. Department of Justice. The DOJ is the nation's top law enforcement agency, responsible for enforcing federal laws and ensuring public.
Okay, I'm gonna pause it here. Department of Justice, make sure you guys write this one down. They're responsible for enforcing federal laws and ensuring public safety. Okay, we talked about, earlier this year, we talked about the word anarchy. It was one of our vocabulary words. So that we have some order, we have these laws. Okay, and so they are responsible for making sure that we have laws and we have public safety. Department of Justice, they call it, sometimes they refer to it as the DOJ.
Public safety. It is led by the Attorney General, the only cabinet member not called a secretary.
What if we run out of
The
room?
DOJ represents
You can
the
use the
United
back
States
side
in
if you
legal
need to.
matters and works to control crime and seek just punishment for those guilty of unlawful behavior. It includes some of the most famous law enforcement agencies in the world, such as the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Drug Enforcement
Okay, these are the groups that.
Administration, and the U.S. Marshals Service.
I don't understand.
Okay, so the Department of Justice, they bring justice forward. Okay, so they enforce the laws. They make sure that things are happening. Okay, checks and balances. It's not our 6-7. I know it's one of my favorites, but so we have over here, when we look up here, we have our checks and balances. They talked about what groups fall under that: the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Drug Enforcement Investigation, and we also have the Department of Justice, the United States Marshals. So these are groups that are part of the Department of Justice. Okay, so justice. When people say they're going to bring forward justice, what does that mean?
It's wrong into right.
Okay, they're make sure justice is served. Okay, and so these laws that we have, they're to make sure that people are safe, right? And so these groups help enforce the laws.
Department of the Interior. This department is the primary steward of America's public lands and natural resources.
Okay, Department of Interior is about public lands. If you need more room, you can write it on the back. I liked it because there's the animal in the middle, so it helps remind you that it's public lands. I think about, when I see the animal, I think about like Yellowstone,
National parks.
Wyoming, natural parks, places we love.
Often called America's landlord, the Department of the Interior manages vast swaths of federal land, including the iconic National Park System through the National Park Service. It also oversees agencies like the Bureau of Land Management and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. Additionally, it is responsible for honoring the nation's trust responsibilities to Native American tribes. Department of Agriculture. The USDA is responsible for developing and executing federal policy on farming, forestry, and food. Its broad mission includes ensuring the safety of the nation's food supply through the Food Safety and Inspection Service.
Okay, so agriculture is food. Okay, making sure our food is safe.
FDA.
FDA, correct. I like that. I'm glad that you knew that. The Food and Drug Administration.
Providing financial support to
Maybe I'll
farmers
do about
and
this.
managing the Environmental Nutrition Assistance Program, also known as food stamps. It also oversees the U.S. Forest Service, which manages
Okay, it oversees Forest Service and also food stamps.
193 million acres of national forests and grasslands. Department of Commerce. This department's mission is to create the conditions for economic growth and opportunity. It is a diverse department that promotes American business, both at home and abroad. It is famously home to the U.S. Census Bureau, which conducts the constitutionally mandated census every 10 years. It also
Okay, we talked about the census when they take statistical data about like how many people live in a community. Remember that? Income, what types of jobs?
includes the Patent and Trademark Office, which protects intellectual property, and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, which monitors weather and protects ocean resources. Department of Labor. The Department of Labor is tasked with fostering the welfare of the nation's wage earners, job seekers, and retirees. It is responsible for enforcing federal laws related to workers' rights and safety. This includes ensuring fair wages and working hours and setting workplace safety standards through the Occupational
labor
Safety and
responsible
Health
for again?
Administration.
Wages, making sure that it's safe in the workplace for people.
Wait, hold on. Slow down.
Sorry.
So, can you start again?
Yeah. Okay, so for labor laws, so it's really important that when people do go in the workplace, that they have
I just want to know what it's responsible for.
fair wages
Okay.
and safe work conditions.
The right to unionize is enforced by the Independent National Labor Relations Board, not the Department of Labor. It also measures and reports on the nation's employment statistics, such protecting the health of all Americans and providing essential human services. It is a massive department that manages some of the nation's most important programs. Its agencies include the Food and Drug Administration.
Okay, so make sure if you need more room, you guys, make sure you're writing it down. Health and Human
It's kind of
Services.
like
Which
two
ensures
paths
the
for me.
safety of food and medicine, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the National Institutes of Health, which
Vaccines.
leads medical research, and the programs that administer Medicare and
Just
Medicaid.
Can
Okay,
you wind back a little bit?
yeah, I can go back.
A little bit further.
Which one do you need to go back to?
Important programs. Its agencies
Human
include the
Services.
Food and Drug Administration, which ensures the safety of food and medicine, the Centers for Disease
Okay, so food and medicine.
Imagine if their system failed and we ended up getting the wrong medicine and we all died.
That would be very tragic.
Mm-hmm.
Why would
And
that
we
be
would have to blame them for it.
why would that be funny? Yeah, why would that?
I never said it was funny. What are you talking about?
Prevention,
I'm really glad there's a lot of safety protocols.
the National Institutes of Health,
Did you always
which leads
say that
medical
it's
research,
funny?
and the programs that administer Medicare and Medicaid. Department of Housing and Urban Development. HUD's mission is to address
How do I
America's
say it?
housing
In what-
needs
in what
and
way?
enforce
What
So,
way?
we're probably, after this one, we're probably gonna just kind of look at
Shut
the,
up.
at the board, you guys. But this is the housing and urban development, and so it's to enforce, fair housing laws. And so fair housing laws, you guys, I'll just kind of go over it. Fair housing laws are that if you are a renter, that your landlord is maintaining the property so that it's livable for the renter. So meaning that if it's cold outside, that it has heat, and if the building is being, kept up so that it's a safe place for the people to live, that the people aren't in harm. That the place has like running water and everything that the people need to be safe in that space, okay? And then also, some of the housing and urban development, part of their, laws are that people that own properties, they can't raise the rent a certain percentage each year, okay? So when we look at all these different agencies, and it's gonna zoom back out in just a second, and it'll show some more, and I'll just pause it so you guys
fair
can see.
housing laws. The department works to create strong, sustainable, and inclusive communities, local housing programs.
Let me see if I can
Department of Transportation.
go right back here. Let me see if I can just zoom it
That
for a
every
second.
American has access to safe.
Okay, so, there's all these different groups. Okay, I didn't pause it quite, but there's transportation, there's energy, okay, and it goes on for a lot of groups. We're not gonna go over all of these today, but I want you guys to think about something.
I mean, we could have gone to the whole 9-minute video.
Yeah, we could. We're gonna go over it a little bit later. But I want you to think about this. Like all of these agencies, all of these cabinets, all of these groups, there's specific things that they do, right? Okay. So like labor does something different than the treasury, right? Okay, energy does something different than transportation. But they all have different like laws and different things that they do to try to protect the people, okay? I want you to make sure, okay, look at this right here. Okay, can you sit up a little bit, buddy? Thanks. Okay, they all have things that they do, you guys, to like oversee different things. Now we're gonna flip back to the textbook. And in our book right here, it goes through all of these same things that we just kind of watched. And I like this right here on page 416, you guys, because it shows, I'll flip back real quick. On 415, it starts going through, there's the Department of the State, the Treasury, the Interior, there's agriculture, there's justice, there's commerce, there's labor, there's defense, there's health and human services, there's HUD, transportation, energy, education, veterans affairs, and homeland security. Those are all the groups. So we got through almost all of them. Now here's what I really like, is I really like this visual, okay? I like seeing things that our textbook does. I think this is like one of the best textbooks ever that we have this year, you guys, because the visuals are so great and they help me visualize and see like what's going on. So this is the department budgets. So when I look at this chart right here, which department has the largest budget? Okay, it's on page 416.
Treasury?
416. Which one's at the top?
Health and Human Services.
Health and Human Services, you are correct. Okay, the next largest is which group?
Defense.
Defense, correct. Followed by,
Agriculture.
yes,
Then we also have Veteran Affairs, and what's next? Let's see. We have Transportation, and Education, Homeland Security, Labor, House and Urban Development, State, Justice, Energy, Interior, Treasury, and Commerce.
Commerce, yes, great job.
Forever.
You did a great job. Okay, so we're gonna turn the page. Okay, 418, we didn't go over energy really, but we're gonna look at it in the book. Transportation protects railroads, bridges, and waterways. Okay, so we didn't watch that part of the video. The federal highways, that's what that does. Energy is laws about energies to promote affordable and clean energy and protect our environment. So that's important. Also, Department of Education, very important because we are all students here today. And department does provide some funding to the schools, administers financial aid programs. And I like right here it says that it also ensures equal access for students regardless of race, ethnicity, national origin, physical disabilities, and levels of proficiency in English. So I like that because education is for everyone, okay? And Veterans Affairs, what is a veteran? Does anybody know?
Person who served in the military.
A person who served in the military. It is programs for them and their families and survivors. So it's pensions. What's a pension?
Like, is that like an award, like, I think because they served. Like,
Because they
get
served.
free housing,
A retirement plan.
Yeah.
Okay. Education, disability compensation, home loans, life insurance.
Hey, that reminds me. Home Alone.
Home alone, you love that.
Yeah.
Survivor support, medical care, and burial benefits. So there's different things for people who have served in the military. Homeland Security is DHS, Department of Homeland Security, coordinates national efforts to protect against terrorism, and it talks about the infrastructure, and it goes over border protection, the Coast Guard, the Secret Service, and transportation and customs enforcement. Okay, so here we have down here, we have all these different agencies. So I have some questions. Okay, what are the functions of the 15 cabinet departments in the executive branch? So what are some of their functions? Like what are some of their main ideas?
Basically, ensuring that America is working and
Okay,
like life is
ensuring that,
a healthy, you know,
yes,
healthy, just happy life, I guess, and safe, happy, safe, you know,
Okay.
lives. You know, that was each cabinet role.
okay, great job, great job, great job. So, they oversee things to make sure things are running right. Okay, great job. And so then we have independent agencies. So there's independent agencies too, which we're not gonna get into, but I wanna let you know that one of my favorite independent agencies is NASA, the space program. And that's on page 419. We're gonna go over NASA and some of these independent ones tomorrow, but right now we're gonna focus more on this. So on the second page of our packet, I want you to think about this, and you're gonna write a sentence. Which department do you think has the biggest effect on your daily life? Okay. Now on this little paper that I gave you that you guys were looking at, the little rubric, it talks To get full credit, you need to identify the departments and agencies and the impacts and examples. Use relevant words when you are writing, and make sure your paragraphs are organized. So which department do you think has the biggest effect on your daily life from the ones that are in the book? You can look at transportation, energy, education, veterans affairs, commerce, labor, defense, homeland security, ag, justice, and you can go back to the page before also. So think about it. Do you think it's the Treasury? Do you think it's Homeland Security? Do you think it's, like I have a passport and I like to travel? So look at all those different groups and choose the one that you think, and you're gonna write it right here, okay, on this page. Which one do you think has the biggest effect on your life?
I don't know.
Well,
Okay.
I would think about it.
And you can look at these choices right here. Energy, okay, education. Okay, a lot of you guys might say education because you come to school every day and you're students. Okay, some of you guys might say energy because you use energy. Some might say transportation. Homeland security, maybe. Agriculture. Okay, maybe labor. Maybe some of you guys have jobs. And maybe with your job, you feel like, the Department of Labor is important because they make it so like when I'm in school, I can only work certain hours and so many hours a week, and I get paid X amount. And, they're not able to pay me like super low wages because there's certain pay that they have to pay. So think about which one you think applies to you, okay? Write that down. Yeah, thank you for asking. Okay, so write that down. Okay, after you guys do that, okay, we're gonna move on. Everybody's doing a good job. If anybody needs help, let me know.
Just education. I said I'm blessed to be in an amazing high school where I can learn new things every day and have amazing kind teachers that commit their time for me to learn essential things I can apply to my life.
Okay, I love that. That's really good. Okay. But then if you want to work in it a little bit, you can. So you're going to choose one cabinet department and one agency within it. And you're going to write some things about it. So you're going to write down do you want to use your device or you can see it? Okay, what does the department do?
Okay.
What does it, and how it impacts the citizens.
Okay.
So a good way
So just a summary of the, what
so
it is.
some of the good ones to do would be like the Department of Labor or the Department of Treasury because they really impact like. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next one, you guys. It's on here. Okay, so right here, I created this little section for you guys because I think it's important to kind of talk about like an agency and what it does and how it impacts citizens. Because I think that all of these really impact citizens. I want you guys to try to use two academic vocabulary words. So you can use like the department would be a vocabulary word, the agency, things like that, words that we've been using. But I want you guys to think about one of the agencies and how it impacts citizens. And I'm gonna give you some examples, okay? And you're gonna choose one and you're gonna write about it in your own words. The Department of Labor, okay? The Department of Labor impacts citizens because it what? What do you think? Department of Labor helps set, what does Department of Labor help set? I'm gonna come over here. Work standards, such as what? Pay and safety conditions? Benefits, okay, good job, benefits, okay, that's also one that we didn't really talk about, that you came up with, that's great. So, Department of Labor is great, Department of Transportation, okay, is also a good one, that provides things to, the community. Department of Housing also provides housing to people. Energy is also important too, because it's supposed to help us hopefully keep our energy like more environmentally friendly and our prices down. Department of Treasury is supposed to help keep our economy pretty good, print money. So you're gonna choose one of those and you can look in your book, but you're gonna write 3 to 5 sentences about it and how you feel it impacts like our community and it impacts us, okay? Or the Department of Education, because by sending us to school, it helps educate us so that after we graduate, it will put us, out into the real world with the skills that we need to be successful, because we'll be able to go out and we have good social skills, we have good reading skills, and we're gonna be successful in life, okay? So all of those types of things. So you're gonna think about one of these agencies. And you can go back in the book and you can like look and be like, okay, the Department of Labor, they do this, this, and this, and so that's why I think that they're really good. Yeah, so you can pick any of those. You guys are really doing a great job on this. I really like this lesson because I feel like this is a lesson that before you guys graduate, like we're about halfway through the school year, but it's good to like learn about all the agencies and to know what each one kind of does and how it impacts like us.
Oh, I don't think I used too academic.
Let's see, you use the department? Okay, that's one.
Okay.
So that's good. And then you used largest in the world. You can go back and you could use, yeah. You can put impact. You can use the word impact.
Yeah.
So you can use the word impact also as one of your vocabulary words. It has an impact because of da 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 da.
Insurance security.
Thank you. Great job, you guys. Okay. Now the next part is a cabinet department and an agency under it. So this one's a little bit tricky. So we've got a cabinet department and an agency under it.
This one's the exact same one.
Okay, so a cabinet department and an agency. So this is another one where you're gonna think about a different one. Okay, and you can think about like, the Department of Agriculture, or you can think about, I'd say like a really good one would be like the Department of Ag. And what is somebody under that? The Department of Ag has like the FDA under it. You see what I'm saying? So like we've got the Department of Ag, and then the group under it is the FDA. And what does the FDA do?
Ensure safety of food and like drugs.
Okay, it ensures safety of food and drugs. Do we ever see like food recalls on TV?
Yes, like banning a red dye and like
Okay, banning of red dye. What about things that grow? Like
Skittles. Like
Skittles. I love Skittles. If I could plant Skittles, I would definitely plant Skittles. It's okay that you said Skittles. That's okay. Do we ever see like there's a recall on tomatoes or there's a recall on strawberries?
Oh, tobacco.
Okay, there's a recall on certain things because sometimes they have to be recalled for safety reasons, right? And so the FDA does that. That's with the Department of Agriculture. Okay. So, yes, so great job on that. Now, after you have completed that, okay, you guys, a lot of you guys have kind of worked ahead a little bit. Think about self-reflection. Okay, self-reflection can be like, it can be like, you know, from this lesson, something that you've kind of learned about these different departments. After you graduate, like how is this going to like impact you? Like when you go out and maybe look for a job, you know that, you know, you guys can look into like what labor laws are. You can look into different things, different programs. Some of you guys have expressed an interest in possibly like joining like the military. And so all of these different things kind of tie into this, okay? Then we're going to go back to, circle back. What branch oversees all of these?
The
Executive?
executive. Oh, the executive branch.
Okay, good job. You get the door. Thank you for getting the door. Okay, before we conclude our lesson, okay, I want, if there's a couple of you guys who are willing to share, like on your packet, which group do you think impacts you the most? Okay, which agency, group, cabinet do you think impacts you the most right now in your life? So that's going to be like this little middle section on the second page. So do I have any volunteers who would share?
I will.
You'll share? Okay. Which group, cabinet department, do you think impacts you the most? Okay.
I guess I could say for you.
You can share with the class.
I think the Department of Education has a major impact on my life. I am truly blessed to be in this high school, learning new things and having amazing kind teachers that have committed their time for me, that I can apply all the things I've learned to my everyday life.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing. So he said Department of Education. He feels so blessed to be a student here at this school. I'm going to say that I feel blessed to be here also. I think we have the most amazing students on this campus, and you guys are an amazing classroom. I'm blessed to be here every single day. Did you want to share yours?
One department that I think that I rely on is going to be the Department of Transportation.
Transportation, okay.
For those that that don't have good vision, you know, like me, and that can't get their road license. Public transportation is one thing on that they rely on, especially the ones I got.
Okay, I love that. So Department of Transportation, and I love that you shared that. So he doesn't have the best vision is what he shared, and so he's going to rely on the Department of Transportation. Thank you so much for sharing that. Do you want to share? Do you have one that you wanted to share? Nope. Okay, does anybody else have one that they want to share? Okay, I just want to thank everybody for the participation in this lesson today. You guys did a great job. And I just want to remind you guys that all of these different cabinets, there's 15 different ones, are very important. They all help support society, they support us, and they're all broken down and organized for a specific reason to oversee specific things. And we're going to kind of continue on and explore some more of this in our next lesson. I'm going to collect these, and we're going to do, in the future, we're going to do a Kahoot to see what we learned, and we're going to find out our next steps so we can continue this learning process. So thank you so much, and when you are done, I'm going to walk around and I'm going to collect these. So great job.
Can I go to the restroom?
You may go to the restroom.